Okay, really quickly, before we start this, I've got a better microphone now. Right? God, I can't talk about anything else right now. So, when I'm filming this, it is currently December 27th at 10:22 a.m. I finished the final Chainsaw Man episode about 20 minutes ago. So, finished at about 10, went through all it, did the end credit scenes and everything, by the way. And the ending by Eve, my favorite Japanese artist, dude. There's no way they did that. I'm so flabbergasted by how perfectly animated the finale was. And I mean, yes, the entire show was perfectly animated within itself, but dude, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I can't say anything. I'm at a loss for words in the best way. It's been over a year since the last time I decided to talk about Pokemon on this channel. Currently, I'm at 2 subscribers, and my handle is KeshiCola 4626. It's okay. I claimed the KeshiCola handle on my main channel, so that's all that really matters. This is just supposed to be a dumb channel where I upload different clips and stuff. I have a funny. I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now, and I have a funny clip montage I can upload here. That's basically what this channel is this random ass podcast and the clip montages, which is hilarious. Even so, I think I'm gonna change my the thumbnail thing about it, even though that's kind of like the point of this entire series is to just speak into a microphone and just have the thumbnail. Anyway, I'm ranting about this. Hi guys! It's 2 minutes and 27 seconds in now, or about 2.5 minutes in. Alright? And this is the yearly reunion, I guess, of the Something About podcast, where I talk about something and we speak about something. Yeah, I did originally have backup episodes of this, but those my audio recording was really weird when I was originally doing this podcast. I had a few guests and stuff. I talked about Kingdom Hearts. I talked about Mario, stuff I can talk about for hours. But even so, I don't think any of them had the heart that the Pokemon one had. Even though I can rant about a lot of them, and especially with my friends, we can rant about a lot. I don't think anything's going to match up to how much I can speak right now about Chainsaw Man. Okay, so frankly, I absolutely adore this series, and oh my, I read the manga a good bit before the anime released, obviously. I want to say it was around the time that Demon Slayer's final manga came out that I started reading Chainsaw Man, because I was finally able to get a hold of it, because I'd just recently gotten into manga through Demon Slayer because of the movie, as I brought up. So when chapter 23 came out, that was pretty cool. Or not chapter 23, what am I calling it? Volume 23 came out, because I'm weird. I have to read my manga physically unless I'm super intrigued into it, and Chainsaw Man was one of the only mangas that I read not physically and read partially digitally. I think I got up to Yeah. I got up to the end of volume, like, I want to say either 8 or 9. I think it was 9. I got to the end of volume 9 because funny exploration in the snow. I got to the end of volume 9 before I picked up just on a random, one of those random sketchy websites that just give you the panels and then like have very phallic imagery elsewhere as ads. Yeah, I just picked it up from there, and I am an emotionally changed man now. That is, this entire series is like a giant journey, and when I tell you that this is a roller coaster, like when I was hyping up all my friends for when the anime released, like everybody'd watched all the way up to episode 7 and stuff, and we were all like, oh yeah, this is really fun. But when I say episode 7, like if you set it up as a roller coaster, right? You're getting into the cart in like episode 1, right? You're beginning, like they're doing the speeches and stuff, introducing characters and stuff, and episode 2 and like episode 3, like introductory, like, oh, these are the big events that are kind of happening, right? Episode 4 and 5, you're like, oh cool, I'm actually like building up to this roller coaster, it's getting to the peak. In episode 6, you're kind of like waiting at the first drop, right? Like the big drop in any big roller coaster. You're like, whoa, this is crazy, I don't really know, this is gonna be absolutely insane. And when I say episode 7 drops you, it drops, and hard, like, and almost directly vertical, right? And it doesn't slow down for the rest of the manga. It's absolutely insane. It's gonna be like this for the rest of the series. And by the way, because this is a podcast and this is gonna go on for a long time, I guarantee it. Very much spoilers ahead. I'm doing my best to like at least in the first few minutes here try to like lead you in to it, but there's very quickly going to be a lot of spoilers for obviously the manga and like the entire show. I will easily say this, that oh my god. What? What? Okay. Crazy amount of foreshadowing here. I just realized the cover of Chainsaw Man Volume 5, because I pulled it out after this final episode, because that's what this is where it left off. It left off about halfway through Volume 5, and yeah, you can see like do you call them arteries or intestines? I don't know. Manga readers will know what I'm talking about. But those things. I just realized crazy amounts of foreshadowing the show as well. Like, okay, spoiler warning. Anyway, we're about to delve in. Please go watch the show. It is animated perfectly. Mappa did it amazingly. But yeah, like in Aki's backstory, I'm not sure if this was in the manga. I don't think it was. But they hinted to the country mouse and the city mouse, so they're foreshadowing Rize that early on. What's that about? That's crazy. And then they foreshadow her at the end of this episode, bro. Like what are you doing, Mappa? You can't leave me on this big of a cliffhanger. You can't leave me with my crazy Russian waifu, even though god damn. Yeah, there's no wonder I'm a little bit of a weeb sometimes. Anyway, you can't leave me off on that, bro. At least they animated the back of her head, like we know it's Rize. That's about all we need. Alright, well, I guess let's start from episode 1, so I don't dig dig my hole into the manga deeper than it is already. Episode 1, Dog and Chainsaw. As they introduced, they cut it right when Makima hugs Denji and then says like, oh yeah, I can either hunt you as a devil or take you in as a human. And just, yeah, whoa, that's so cool, right? Dang Makima, bro. Like, sketchy. Still, honestly, now that the series is over, I can still confidently say Makima is one of the scariest characters in anime. Like, people say there's things that terrify them, right? Like different, like, grotesque things. Dude, Makima is like the scariest, like, anime character in the world. in at least my experience. Dude, this might be a topic to cover later, in some time in this, right? But since in the anime you see her literally just being able to twist her hands and then make somebody implode. I just want to say implode on themselves, and then, oh my god, it's terrifying. And then just casually oh yeah, by the way, here's eyeballs, and like nothing happened, right? Genuinely, like, a terrifying character. You don't know what, like, Makima's up to. Those eyes are terrifying. They stare into your soul, my guy. Like, I'm freaking, man. I want to talk about this series so much. This is why the podcast is returning, because I really want to talk about this series. And also from the opening, as I covered in my Chainsaw Man video on my main channel, it was my #1 most played on Spotify. It was I think 142 streams. I do have an issue, especially since it's like, oh, it's an opening, it's an anime opening, it's the opening to my favorite anime. This is also the opening to my everyday life now. So going into college and, like, driving up there and then just listening to Rocky, I don't even know how to. In my Ghost of Tsushima video, I covered I'm a white British American trying to sing Japanese. That's funny. Or, like, my clips. Let's see. English enunciation. Is it? I don't know. Pronunciation? I don't know. I'm gonna try and find the lyrics while I'm speaking. I also would like to say the fact that every ending was different was so cool. Like, genuinely, we got so many good songs, and Eve got the last. I keep saying it. Eve got the last one, dude. I can't wait for that song. So I found Eve through Jujutsu Kaisen, and then I've progressively listened to more and more of his music. I think, personally, it's either Tokyo Ghetto or Nonsense Philosophy is my favorite. It's one of the two. But, dude, his ending song was really good. Yeah, I got what I was looking for. No, I screwed it up already. I'm gonna stop before anybody roasts me. Bro, I'm so excited. Okay, back to it. Episode 1. So that's when they introduced that they're doing half CGI and half. Dude, you can tell I'm getting really heated on topic when I voice crack. That's when they did episode 1 and what? No shit. Well, that's when they did, like, the first like, introductory chapter. So when they revealed that it was CGI and also animated, and at first, in my opinion, it was a little bit rough. Episode 1 was really good though, don't get me wrong. And I think Denji got his left testicle back. I'm on the group that if his left eye's back, his left testicle's back as well. Or no, it was his right eye and his left testicle. How many times have I said testicle? A little bit. That's crazy. But dude, freaking A, man. Like, being able to show that to all of my friends, and then finally, like, instead of being like, dude, I don't want to read, like, them finally just kind of being like, okay, this is good, right? And being able to share that again, like, with my friend group, and all, like, just being able to, like, it was kind of like a little bit of a dream for me. When it initially got announced, everyone was like, oh yeah, cool, like Chainsaw Man, and they saw me freaking out. They're like, whoa, why are you so hyped about this? And then they were still very, very skeptical. I mean, to an extent, I do like interesting things, which is kind of funny. Oops. But yeah, absolutely crazy. I do have to admit that I remember my really close friend Anton. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, yeah, like Chainsaw Man's streaming." I'm like, "Excuse me, Chainsaw Man?" And I started like freaking out. I'm like, "Dude, I am crazy excited for this." He's like, "I was not expecting this." He's like, "Yeah, I get you're an anime fan, but I didn't know you'd be this excited for something." I'm like, crazy excited, and I think everybody can now see why. But yeah, episode 1, I think it was really good, but as good as the Zombie Devil can be. It's still not one of my favorite fights or like introductory pieces at all. I don't really know how to feel about it, but yeah, it was good, at least as good as it could have been, because I just don't like the Zombie Devil. I found it annoying, and I think they did the voice right. The Yakuza grandfather and the Yakuza grandfather and everything. Yeah, Makima. I don't know. Hot take. I don't know why they changed her hair. Like, I understand it's like supposed to be a pinkish red, but like a pure red color. I think, as seen in Volume 10's cover, I thought that's what they were gonna go for. I'm not necessarily against what they did with Makima's hair, but I'm still like Red Gang was better. They might change it later on for a specific piece of foreshadowing that I'm not going to state at this current moment. Cause give me a sec. I have the manga on hand because I'm that much of a nerd. Anyway, when she's initially introduced, no, okay. I'm wondering if it's a difference between when she's initially introduced and the very later chapters that I'm mentioning for the manga readers that are watching this, hopefully. And the later chapters I mentioned, I'm wondering if there's like a difference or change in hair color, but I don't really want to do the research for it right now. I'm going to reread the manga, though, because I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait another year. I can't just wait casually another year for what's happening with this show, dude. Like, and I think they did, like, the pacing was a bit weird in a few of the episodes as well. Like, episode 1 was fine, episode 2 was good, but as you got into, like, some of the Eternity Devil ones, I was a little skeptical of the pacing, but I think they did it right. And then I think the most perfectly paced one was definitely the last episode, episode 12. And honestly, the pacing's not like a big complaint or anything. I don't think I have any super large complaints about this series. especially since like we've only gotten one season so far, so we can't necessarily like comment on anything yet. There was obviously the introduction of probably my favorite character in the series, the Angel Devil, in episode 11. I'm gonna talk about him after I finish talking about the anime, but he's one of my favorite characters. I cosplayed as him, and as of recording this, I've not yet done it, but as of when it's probably up, when this podcast bit comes out, it's probably already happened. But I went to an anime convention as Kishube, and also as the Angel Devil, because I made wings. I'm not gonna waste the wings. Probably going as Denji too, because like why not? Easy cosplay. But like when your series is good enough to get me to cosplay your characters and like start cosplaying because of the series, like you know you've done something right. Thanks Tatsuki Fujimoto, you insane man, like absolutely crazy man, right? Writing one of the like, I don't think I've been as emotionally tugged by a manga ever. Like, genuinely. But anyway, back to episode 2. Or to episode 2. That's when we got the introduction of Aki. The testicle devil was done really well. Yeah, attacked by a testicle devil, man. By the way, can I just say how inspiring it is? I watched it in sub and dub, actually, because I'm that much of a nerd. But I would like to say how inspiring Ryan Colt Levi's like story behind this is. Like, this was his dream role, and he absolutely killed it. Like, I can't imagine anyone else as Denji in an American dub. It's so good, so good. Like, and I think they haven't gone wrong with a voice actor yet in this series. I think it's all perfect. I think it's top-notch stuff. I don't really know how else to say it. Just really good. Yeah. So episode 2 was when we got the introduction of Aki and Power. I think they introduced Aki really well, and I think they introduced Power even better. Power is one of my favorite characters in this series. I have a top 3, being the Angel Devil, Kishube, and then Power, or actually, no, I'd say it would be Angel Devil, Power, and then Kishube. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Is it Kishube, Kishube? I think I'm just gonna say Kishube because that's how I've said it always. Sensei. But then there's Rize. And I mean, of the characters introduced in the anime right now, Angel Devil is my favorite. Then Power, or I'm not even gonna go off screen time. I'm gonna go over overall. I have a screensaver of Power on my computer as I'm currently speaking right now because it was one of the best Chainsaw Man screensavers I found. Even though the shot of Angel looking up into the city, that might be my new screensaver because that was so good. That's one of my favorite manga panels in like the entire series, and it was so beautifully animated. In episode 12, I can freak out about episode 12 right now because that's obviously the one I just finished watching. But damn, I can't. I keep saying, damn, it was animated so perfectly every time. Dude, it's so good. So good. Anyway, episode 2. We got the sea cucumber devil, I want to say. Let me double check, actually. Also, one of the best lines. I can't eat by myself. Definitely not. Yeah, so episode 3 was Meowie's whereabouts. Yeah, episode 2... we finally got the elusive boobs panel animated. God, it's so weird. There's a lot of my friends were really skeptical when they heard that it was gonna talk about like boobs and stuff, right? And then I told them like after it hits about episode like 7, episode 8, and like that's when I say Denji finishes his boobs arc. I mean, there's obviously like the Eternity Devil arc and all the arcs, but like that's my own sort of like finishing bit, because if you look at it deeper, it's a boy lost at what his definition of love is, which I think at the time that I was reading the manga, I was like a hopeless romantic type of beat, so I connected a bit more with. But it's a lot, it's a lot more of what like Denji's definition of love is, and him finding that out for himself. So obviously going straight to physical action was an interesting choice, but as any 16-year-old boy would, kind of went along with it. But yeah, it's a little strange for people, but I think it's done so well that it's entertaining. Like Fujimoto's humor is just really good. What else can I say about it? It's really good. I also love all of his character designs, because it's not just like it's not your basic anime protagonist. It's not your, oh, I want to be the best, I want to kill the biggest devil, right? It's like, nah, bro, I want to touch boobs. like genuinely, he's just like, all right, I want cop a feel. That's what Denji's after. And then he develops later on to figure out like, oh yeah, this isn't really what I wanted. Like he just wants love. He thinks he loves Makima, right? Like boom, like that whole character development, and then Makima obviously interestingly going along with it. Yeah, what can I really say? I've already dethroned what I've talked about here. I've already talked about. Yeah, I've already probably done something bad for myself by mentioning any of the boobs arc. Anyway, episode 3 is where we switch up to Meowi's whereabouts, and we get basically Power's time in the spotlight for an introduction, a more refined introduction at least. And Washi no Na wa Power. Oh, bro. Power's voice is so good too. Anyway, that's where we get Meowie and the Bat Devil. I still don't like the Bat Devil because that feels very like introductory arcs and stuff. Like obviously you've got to introduce how devils work and stuff, but still, they skipped over the Muscle Devil fight, by the way, which all right, that's fine. But Meowie's whereabouts and the entire Bat Devil. I don't know, man. I didn't like the Bat Devil in the manga, and I still don't really like him here. The introductory devils are a little bit rough, but they definitely get the story going. Yeah, the whole Bat Devil thing, pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, and then there's the whole cut to like episode 4 after that. But sticking on episode 3, very 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 good animation. I think it was just a bit of a plot setup, and like Power's backstory, good all around. Yep. Episode 4. What was episode 4 called? All right, pull up the Crunchyroll app again for like the 90th time today. Episode 4, Rescue. This is where we get the introduction to Division 4, baby. Woo! Dude, so obviously Leech Devil. Denji and Power completely useless in this scenario. But Meowie, go Meow. You don't know how funny it was that I had to explain that the cat didn't die. Because they're like, he just straight up ate the cat. Why isn't Meowie dead? And he also just straight up ate Power. How is Power not dead? It's like, nope. I guess they're just lucky. Cool. But yeah, episode 4, we get the Leech Devil fight. Goofy, bro. I like Denji's side of that fight. I don't like the Leech Devil itself because it's always been weird, but that was kind of the point, was for it to be weird. Even so, I think they animated it really well, especially with like building up that Denji's gonna win and then stabbing him straight through the guts. Like that was really cool. And also, supposedly there was like a big cinematic parallel to one of the King Kong movies. which I think that's really cool. And really quickly, I'm gonna go off on a side tangent here. Yeah, all the big cinematic parallels. Definitely Kobeni and Breaking Bad. That's 100% what it was intended to be. Definitely. But all the little references and stuff in the opening, right? Personally, I realized the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, Jacob's Ladder, and obviously Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite films of all time. Then I think the Thor Love and Thunder one was pushing it a little bit, but I guess. And all the little, like, hidden meanings, like the light of the movie TV screen, like how Kishibe's behind the light, and then, like, how Angel's looking directly into the light. Everybody else is kind of like, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Right? All that stuff. So, like, I think that's a bit English teachery. But honestly, I think Mappa intended for that to be English teachery. And, yeah, I mentioned earlier that it was, like, #1 on my Spotify Wrapped. Dude, Kenji Yoshiro, I'm not even going to bother to pronounce his name right now, but Kenshi absolutely killed it, obviously, if I'm listening to it so consistently. Yeah, I love every little piece about this, like, especially, like, the little bit of the parasite that Makima's feeding to Denji. That's so cool. I don't know why it's so cool, but, like, all the really subtle stuff. And, like, when I say English teachery, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I like English. I liked English. That was fun. But, like, delving deep into what, like, something means, like, you never really know, but at the same time, you never really don't know if you catch my drift. Like, it could mean that, and then it's, like, revealed to me that. By the way, I don't know what people were talking about. Oh, right. But I think they definitely intended to say that Arai is the violence. It's okay. That's a bit of a I jumped. Oh well. But they're definitely they definitely just kind of outright said that in one of the endings. Like, they showed everybody else in the Eternity Devil arc, and then dropped the violence fiend in instead of Arai. It's like, okay, Mappa, you're basically saying that that theory was true, which I hope it is. That would make Arai a much more interesting character. But yeah, episode 4. Before I cover anything else about Arai, episode 4. Really good, I think, especially since there was, like, a slight introduction to Himeno. Like, all we needed. Himeno was one of my favorite characters when I was reading the manga, which for anybody who's like seen the series or read the manga now, that, like, you can tell that's really unfortunate. But Himeno's a lot like Ren Goku. which is bad. That's bad. But yeah, I really enjoyed episode 4. But not because of the fight, but because of the side little developments. How, like, you can see Denji and Power kind of becoming, like, buddy and stuff. Very cool. Gotta admit. Episode 5. Okay, so think of how hard it was to explain episode 5 and the end of episode 4. I think it was it episode 4 that Tobaway did the, or Tubaway did the ending, Power's exclusive ending, or the Power ending. I don't know. Also really good song, may I mention. Oh my god. Let's go to episode 5, so I don't have to cover Denji's rewards. Like, please. That was so hard to explain to people. But episode 5, when we finally get more Himeno, then we get Kobeni and Arai, right? And just their kind of introduction. I think their whole spiel was kind of cool. And we also get the introduction of, like, the Gun Devil or like the aim to kill the Gun Devil and stuff. Yeah, the whole Gun Devil piece is done phenomenally. I've got to admit, I really liked how they did the Eternity Devil arc in the animated, in the anime. I really like how they animated it. It was really good. Which episode 5 was just a mixture of emotions that I don't really want to talk much about. Episode 6. So, dude, episode 6 is where they're stuck. We get more Aki and Himeno love. Yeah, those two were definitely intended to be love interests. Let's be honest. I mean, as much as Aki Angels is good, like those two were definitely the intended love interests. Especially as it's revealed later on. Anyway, episode 6 done beautifully. I think shows the personality of the characters really well. Develops the characters a bit more. Yeah, and then that's when everybody on Twitter that read the manga started to become an asshole. Like, yeah, you're supposed to hate Kobeni at this point, and like not I'm not generalizing everybody, but you're supposed to hate Kobeni at this point. That's the point. It's like, oh, you're killing Denji. No, right? And like, to be fair, in that situation, I think I'd kind of be similar, right? Because it's like, hey, I don't know this guy, like. He's being hunted. Like, Denji, you want to just go, like, die really quickly so, like, the rest of your friends don't? But then Aki and Himeno make a great point that it's, like, obviously he wants Denji for some reason. And then by the end of that episode, Aki gets stabbed and then is like, okay. Then has this kind of emotional moment where he begins to connect with Denji. Which... phenomenal. I think it was episode 5 that Aki got his backstory, where they hinted at Rize with the Aesop's Fable. I think done so, like, top notch, amazingly. Got to admit, perfect. But also Gun Devil, that's really unfortunate. Yep, people think that's what I mean by when I say snowball fights will never be the same. That's nothing. God. Dude. That's for later. That's for later. Let's get through each episode first. Yeah, I love Aki's backstory so much. Because he's just revenge-ridden and then is very quickly realizing everything. Like, he's been sent every little bullet and is realizing that, like, obviously revenge is horrible and everything in his life is pointing him towards it being horrible, but it's the only thing he can rely on, right? And I think that's so genius that, that Fujimoto sort of just leaned upon that. And I think it's so good. I think that's so good. It's really good. That's cool. Alright, episode 7. Interesting. Or no, well, back to episode 6 actually. Yeah, Aki gets stabbed, Denji dives down in the middle, and then boom, cuts there. Yeah, honestly, I think the Eternity Devil arc was animated perfectly. I liked the Eternity Devil, especially like his whole story. Really cool, really cool. Very nice, very nice. And then episode 7, The Taste of a Kiss. So at the end of episode 6, I told everybody that was watching the show with me, I'm sorry. I would like to apologize in advance. And I even, like, posted in, like, my private, like, group chats and stuff. I'm like, if any of you have been watching this series because of me, I would like to apologize in advance. And then they censored the puke kiss. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I was terrified for this moment, but like, the rest of your series been uncensored. Like, why you gotta censor the puke kiss, bro? Like, come on. Go on. By the way, I don't know what that map of animators are on. They're a bit too horny with how they animated Himeno. Bro, come on. You didn't need to do that much. Respect, I guess, because, like, for lack of better words, it was really well animated. But come on. But yeah, episode 7 I think was done really well. Right, there's not much I want to cover here, but here is where Kobeni says, yeah, my devil contract is secret. Yeah, it's secretive. And we're in part 2 of the manga now. It's still secretive. Is it the monkey devil? As like Samurai Sword said, or like later on, he's like, oh, is she some sort of monkey? Oh no, it's definitely the monkey devil. Yeah, definitely. Oh, totally. Yeah, we still don't know, but she does become more badass later on, and she's still kind of annoying in that episode. But even so, you can see where she becomes pretty cool in episode 7. Yeah, I also really liked that ending. I just gotta say, music so top notch. But I think it's really funny how it's just the rainbow connecting Denji and Amina's mouth. I thought that was hilarious, and I still think it's one of the most hilarious sequences in a manga I've read. So that's really funny. But then after that episode, we get to episode 8. Gunfire, huh? Oh, stinky. Oh man, this one. And now we're at the start of the roller coaster. We're getting dropped. This one, we get the introduction to Samurai Sword. We get the introduction to Sawatari. We get the introduction to the Cursed Devil. There was a lot of stuff that happened here that didn't get explained, which I think made it even better. Because then they explain it later on. But I had to explain it so many times. But, dude, when I tell you they cut this at the right moment, they, like, the pacing for this episode, so good. Like, people here still thinking Makima's dead, that's hilarious. Yeah, also, I think it's a lot easier to tell, in like, okay, this isn't much of a spoiler, but because they practically revealed it at this point, right? Especially with Kishibe's conversation. Makima's eyes are so much easier to tell that she's inhuman, right? It's so easy. you can. I don't really know how else to say it. I'm not gonna say until I get into my manga portion of this podcast bit. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say what she is. I'm not gonna say it. But you, it's so much easier to tell. There's so much foreshadowing beneath it, and I think that makes the whole thing even better, dude. Because you can tell, like, most of the people that I was talking to about this series connected that Makima and Power's eyes looked similar, right? Like, there's something going on there. But Gunfire, bro, episode 8, So, what can I really say about it? It went crazy. That's it. It just went crazy. Yeah, not Makima. I don't need to know. Aki and Samurai's fight was a bit interesting. And there's also one complaint in this episode that I have, and I think it's like my biggest complaint in the series. But it's not even that big of a complaint because it was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, it sparked memes. So that's fine. So long as it sparks funny, we're good. But dude, the Cursed Devil was a little roughly animated, I want to say, but that, like, it was still so perfectly well done. Like, dude, I really like the Cursed Devil, and I don't think Aki uses the Cursed Devil anymore after this, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not completely sure. He might. I don't know. But Yeah, that whole drop that like, oh, you like this too, don't you, Denji? And then just pulls out, shoots him right in the head, shoots Ibeto, bro, shoots Ibeto, shoots power, and then Aki's just like, I nope, not having this con. Like, oh, bro, by the way, I gotta jump back to the episode that Kon was revealed. Dude, animated so perfectly, and I didn't know Kon was a girl. Now, that's hilarious. Anyway, but back to Gunfire episode 8. Dude, done so well. Like, I think after episode 8 was when I stopped paying attention to most of the endings because I was just flabbergasted by what happened at the episodes. Even though I knew what was happening every time. I knew what was going to happen. I knew what was coming up. I was still flabbergasted by how good it was. I don't really know how else to say it. But yeah, and then there's Himeno's death at the end. Woohoo! Yep, well animated. Gotta say, I've seen a lot of people call the Ghost Devil rough, and in the way that it was animated and like CGI, but I think that's the best they could have done, and I think it opens up more later on, which I think it does, especially when let's just say something that happened this episode happens. That's it. That is something that happens this episode happens. Or something that happens in episode 12 that I'm going to cover in a little bit. Anyway, back on track. Episode 9, we get to relive the pain of Himeno's death. And then we get to see how friggin' terrifying Makima is. Just absolutely piercing through these guys' stomachs. And okay, really quickly, I want to cover this in this episode because this is where I realized it. This is a giant manga spoiler, so please, like, I guess I'm gonna give myself about 15 seconds, right? Cover your ears, mute it for about 15 seconds. Count whatever you want to do. Starting now. Is that foreshadowing for the Gun Devil? Does she already have the contract with the Gun Devil at that point? Because I'm not completely sure. Yeah, I don't really know. But there's the holes through the chest, just like later in the manga. Something that happens. Okay. Yeah, I think that's been about 15 seconds, so the anime watchers are back. Hello. Well, yeah, that's crazy. Like, everything that happens. And Makima is terrifying, but we also get, is it funny that, I remember Tendo's name, but I don't remember her brother's name? Okay. Okay. Tendo and Kurose. Yep. Tendo and Kurose. I really like these characters. They're only brought up a little bit. But I like them. They're cool. Yeah. They're brought up, and then they figure out, like, oh yeah, all of Division 4's friggin' dead. Yeah, and then we get the terrifying the implosion Makima scenes. Oh god. Freaking terrifying. That's all I can say. Damn. Well animated in of itself. Yep, and Makima becomes ever more terrifying, and by the day, I think this is specifically where I think people started to roast, like, the very specific sequence of Makima standing up all bloody in the train cart, how she has a smirk in the episode. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I think it added, like, an effect of, like, staying in her remote smile face, like, no emotions. Sends a chill down my spine every time. God. Still. Bro, Makima's such a well-written character. I've got to admit, like, if I'm this terrified of a villain, I think really well written, and also if I hate a villain this much, very well written. But like, I really like Makima because of how much I hate it. I think that's why that's just why I think it's so well done. Yeah, you guys totally understood that. I don't even know what I just said that. Anyway, episode 10. Yeah, that's where Denji gets cut in half and stuff as well. Yep, die in the van. No, die in the van, idiot. All right, well, yeah, crazy good episode. Got to admit, I think it was either episode 10 or episode 11 that had Dogland as its outro, right? As its ending. One of my favorite endings. A lot of people really didn't like the ending. I really like the song Is There. Yeah, vibes all around. They introduced me to really good Japanese music, this series did. Because I think it was really special in the sense that, like, everybody was like, yeah, I want to get a piece of Chainsaw Man, right? There's so many, like, Japanese artists, like everybody was a fan of Chainsaw Man. It's so good. So very good. I think very special to Mappa. But anyway, from episode 9 from Kyoto, we are going to move on to episode 10, Bruised and Battered. Oh my god, when I tell you this episode always makes me so sad, but foreshadows a lot in a bit. This is where I think Denji specifically states that he's, like, moving on, that he's losing his heart. He's like, yeah, I love Makima, but is that where my heart, like, only where my heart stands? Right? And as he looks to power, right? Oh, bro, it's so well done. I think it's just so good. This series is so amazingly done. And then we see Himeno's sister, and then, like, all the letters, and then talking about Aki, how she loves Aki, how she wants him to go private, how she knows the public safety is so dangerous. Is it funny that Himeno became my favorite character? Not my favorite character, but one of my favorite characters as it goes on, as the manga continues. Like, Himeno's dead, and it just becomes even more of one of my favorite characters. And I think, I think in the end, Himeno's at least in my top 5, if not in my top 3 of characters after reading the manga, specifically because of how much her death affects Aki and how well written Aki is. I think, bro, I don't know, man. But episode 10's where we begin to get to Aki's feelings and everybody's feelings on Himeno's death, and it's just it's so good. Like, I don't really know what else to say. It's super emotional, and as I say, like, it's a roller coaster of emotions. Like, I get really emotional when they talk about stuff like this. But then Kuro say, dude, the Chad's like, hey bro, like, I hate you, but, like, I'm gonna help you out. You need to make another devil contract. And then we get introduced in episode 10, boozed and peppered, to Kishibe. Woo! I think the pacing of Kishibe was a little weird. I think they should have started episode 11 with him. But I'm not complaining. Yeah, he was done so perfectly. I think just his attitude to life, just, I don't want to be here, but you know what? While I'm here, I may as well have fun. Right? Like, that whole sequence, so well done. I love Kishibe. Oh my god, bro. Like, so well done. I'm again cosplaying him. Boom. Perfect. Yeah, because I have bleached hair. I mean, I can pass off totally. Yeah, so well animated. I don't really know what else to say. But it was more a lot of the emotions and the future devil, the beginning of this. I watched this with my friend Zach, and he's like, no, you've got to tell me what happens next. You've got to tell me what happens next. And I'm like, no, that's for episode 11, Zach. Like, dude, I loved the future devil so much. But episode 10 was so emotional that I don't really want to cover it. And as much as I do, crazy. Yep, episode 11, mission start. This is where we begin to get the revenge. Right. Oh wait, no, episode 10 was where we get the cerebral warfare clip from Denji and Power. One of my favorite manga panels and stuff. I can't really complain. Animated really well. And a devil can never trust, or I don't remember what the quote was exactly. A devil can never trust what Hunter says. All right. Back to pulling out manga volume 5 when Denji says it. Alright, he says it after the thing happens. Yep, didn't your granddad ever teach you that a beast should never trust a hunter? One of the hardest lines in the series, dude. It goes so hard. God. I hate that I'm saying that, but I also love that I'm saying that. Anyway, mission start. We're reaching the latter end. This episode is where we get introduced to all the feeds and Beam. Zombie! Woo! I love Beam so much, dude. One of the like coolest characters. I freaking just love Beam. He's like kind of like the comedy relief. But this series is so dark that we need characters more like Beam that like instead of being like super depressed and very stuff, like Beam is like the light at the end of the tunnel. He's just happy. He's happy to be there. Yeah, he's literally a golden retriever, but as if it was a shark. If it was a shark devil. Beam is so good, bro. I like Beam. Anyway, but yeah, we finally get Makima's eye scene, and then just being able to control like everybody's just death, being able to just kill people. Oh my god. Even more terrifying. And everybody's eyes. Everybody's eyes. God, I can't with that. It's freaking terrifying. I can't. But yep, we get Aki fighting Sawatari and then get the girl choked out. By the way, they're very, very loyal to the manga here. Like, there was a few more added sequences, like when Aki is doing his morning routine before Power gets there, and I think that just made that made the whole thing a little bit better. I don't know, man. Really, really good. Episode 11. Oh, that there's a lot more build up, and then we finally get Aki and Angel's experience. I think they animated the Angel Devil perfectly. He has a much different voice than what I was expecting. I was expecting something closer to like Mutro, or like that one Smash Bros. Me voice that goes like oh, like a lot more like oh yeah no, like a lot more tired than he was. Like he's already tired. But even so, I think the Angel Devil's voice was done perfectly. Like, I don't think they voice casted anybody wrong here. Like, really, really well done. Yeah, well, dang, that was episode 11, the build-up. Yeah, and, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. Oh, man, absolutely crazy. Yeah, and then we figure out that, Sawatari and everybody's, like, a separate division of the Yakuza. That part was pretty cool, I think, and then especially since it was revealed that Sawatari can use a snake devil to spit back out devils that were previously on somebody's side. So that's rough. That's rough, buddy. All right, we're at 1 hour, and I'm not even done covering all the anime episodes. But here it is, baby. Episode 12, the one I can speak the most on because I just watched it. Oh my god, it was animated perfectly. I was like, when I say that I was telling my friends that the Katana Man versus Chainsaw Man fight was going to be like one of the best animated, or one of the best fights in, I want to say just anime, period. Like, it was done so perfectly. So perfectly. I don't really know how else to say it. And before I go even further in on that and how hard that goes, I just want to say the whole easy revenge sequence was done so amazingly, where you can see like a little bit more of Aki remembering Himeno, right? And then like the flashbacks and stuff, to where like you can see Himeno genuinely cared for Aki, genuinely cares about this boy, right? Like, dude, it like gets even more emotional. And then you see the Ghost Devil, like, remember, Himeno gave the Ghost Devil her everything, so the Ghost Devil could give their everything back, right? Oh my god, it was so good, bro. I love that entire easy revenge sequence so much that I think I want a Chainsaw Man tattoo. I do, like, genuinely. I have a Persona 5 one, because Persona 5 means a lot to me, and Chainsaw Man, again, caught me at the right time. But I delved through this so much, and, like, honestly, like, a little bit of an emotional peak here. I've been really stressed, like, this last half of the year, I want to say. There's been a lot going on in my life. And I think Chainsaw Man was just kind of my escape every Tuesday. It kind of kept me going a little bit, you know? Which is just, it's just one reason that I kind of just, I want to give it some time, but I've been thinking of getting a Chainsaw Man tattoo to just say, hey, like, yeah, because I'm a firm believer that every tattoo you get has to have meaning. It has to have a lot of meaning. Like, Persona 5 was a lot more than just a game for me. It was a lot more like an experience. Like, that again got me out of another rough patch. And then it's a reason I'm closer with some of the friends I'm closer with, and also a reason I'm actually closer with my dad, because we went to Japan, and then I got him into Persona slightly before we went to Japan, so we were both just freaking out over, like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I know this area, whoa, that's so cool. Yet, still, would recommend going to Japan. Like, I hear everybody, like, roast weebs, like, oh, I want to go out and live in Japan, like, oh yeah. Like, I would definitely recommend visiting it first. A beautiful, beautiful place. Super technologically advanced still. And, yeah. Anyway, that's a story for possibly an interview later on if I ever become famous. But, episode 12. Back to episode 12. The best animated. Easy Revenge. I'm thinking of getting that tattooed, or, the manga panel. Manga panel later on. Spoiler! Spoiler, it's probably just gonna be about like 3 seconds. I'm just gonna mention it. Actually, no, give it 10 seconds, starting now. I was thinking of getting the panel where Aki's hugging Angel, or the final sequence with Denji. The very final, no, not like the very final one, but like the final one where he's fighting a significant enemy, because I think the anime watchers are back now. Yeah, one of those three, which is pretty cool. But anyway, back to episode 12, because I got distracted saying I wanted to tattoo the Easy Revenge, which is from Fooly Cooly as well, I believe, FLCL. Big references. Gotta love all that Tatsuki Fujimoto is. I like how he's just like a mix of, and like everything he loves. But yeah, great. Also, I love how at the end of this episode, Aki actually smokes the cigarette that says Easy Revenge, as like an homage to Himeno. I think that's just such a nice little touch. But yeah, anyway, they go on, and then Denji and Power's just like, munch, scrumptious. And then Power's like, I will live to tell the tale, Denji. Right, boom, killing all the zombies, and Denji's just like, I thought that was really funny, really well animated perfectly. She's killing all the zombies, and Denji's still just in the elevator, goes up, meets Samurai Swordman, and he's like, hey, I want to cut you a deal. And then Denji's like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. And then they commence the best fight in literally any manga I've read. Bro, I don't really know how to say it. It's so good. It's so good. Bro. Yeah, just watch it. That's all I can really say. Whole fight sequence, so well done. So amazingly animated. And then the end. The competition. The ode to ye old late Himeno. The manga chapter opens with Aki and Himeno. With chapter 38. And I think that's just, it's such a nice touch that everybody's like, you killed my friend. Like, now we're gonna make you suffer. I just think that whole sequence where it shows how like tightly knit like Public Safety Division 4 can be. And then obviously they gotta kick the guy's nuts. Like come on, Testicle Devil's making his return. I mean I don't really know what else to say. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, and then Aki's just like, man, pulls out Easy Revenge. I love that cigarette so much. So what do I get if I win? His family, jewels, duh. So one of the best sequences, one of my favorite panels later in that where, like, obviously, like, angels looking up to the sky. Right, oh, bro, everybody, all the Yakuza are being taken in, all the, everybody's just safe. It's like, whoa, that whole sequence of events is over, and then we finally get to see everybody happy for once, and I think that's especially good with, like, the ending and everything. And then, one of my favorite speeches here, Himeno, can you hear this up in heaven? It's a requiem from us to you. It just hits. It hits, bro. What else can I say? And then, obviously, they talk about Sawatari as the credits begin to roll, right? And Kobeni escorting her as then the Snake Devil decapitates her, right? And then Makima becomes utterly terrifying, right? And then the very next sequence is when Aki smokes the cigarette, which is nice. And then we see everybody happy, right? And then it begins to become the post-credit scenes. Yeah, we get to see everybody happy for a little bit, and then Denji's asleep. And then we get foreshadowing to the door, which, I was again watching this episode with my friend Zach, right? My god, bro. Like, we were both freaking out. We were like, the door. I was freaking out for a different reason, and Zach's like, you know what's behind the door. They can't leave us on what's behind the door. I'm like, Zach, you don't want to know what's behind the door. He's like, I want to know what's behind the door. I want to know what's behind the door. Any manga reader will be able to say, you don't want to know what's behind the door. That's all we can say. But I think it's done so expertly well. Pochita, don't open the door. Don't open it, no matter what. And then Denji wakes up, and then it cuts from Denji to one of the coolest bits of foreshadowing I've seen. Just a lady casually walking. Oh, do we know who this is yet? No, definitely not. Right? Denji, are you a country mouse or a city mouse? That is the question. Followed by the back of somebody's hair walking into a coffee shop. Cut! Fade to black. Oh. The Rize foreshadowing is real, dude. I literally jumped up with excitement. I'm so excited that they're gonna do a season 2 now, because this is it's my favorite arc from this point on. The Bomb Devil arc, or oh crap, oh no, yeah, the Bomb Devil arc is my favorite arc, but gets started through a character named Rize, which was foreshadowed at the end here. Um, oh yeah, I just completely spoiled that. Oh my god, I feel so guilty. Well, if you've watched 1 hour and 11 minutes, you probably have enough time to read the manga. So, yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna cut it here. As much as I want to cover bits and pieces of the manga, I want to reread it first, and then like, I want to make an in-depth video on what I think of the manga and stuff. But I've been talking about Chainsaw Man for an hour and 11 minutes. Dang. I covered all 12 episodes of season 1. I mean, that's all you really need. But yeah. Dang. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm gonna cut it here. So anyway, if you have not watched the series yet, please watch it. Please ignore all the spoilers I mentioned here. Yeah, it's so good. Please talk to your friends about it. I absolutely adore this series, and yeah, I will see you guys in season 2, and probably sooner in the video I make on this than in the in this podcast. So yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. And I know probably not many of you have watched this one again, but it's always nice when I can just rant to myself, I think. But yeah, I like making these whenever I have like super inspiration to. I'm not really sure how consistent this podcast is gonna be. It's not gonna be consistent at all, I guarantee it. But it's just fun to make every now and then. So I appreciate you guys listening to me rant for an hour if you've made it this far. And yeah, I will see you in the next one or on the main channel, whatever ends up happening. Yeah. Alright, well, see you next time. Yeah. See ya. I don't know. I need a funny reference. I need a funny reference. What's a funny Chainsaw Man? There's a lot of them, but there's a lot I shouldn't mention as well. All right. Well, City Mouse out. I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Goodbye.